How you doing today, guys? Welcome to my channel. And on this video I wanted to announce a couple things. Alright, first thing let's get to is today is the 6th, November the 6th. This is on Sunday. Now, why is that important? Because Transport Fever comes out on Tuesday, which will be the 8th, Election Day also. So, what that means is, now I'm recording this on the 6th, that won't come out. You probably won't see this until the 7th on Monday. So that means this is going to be my last video on Train Fever. And probably, I won't make any more on Train Fever unless somebody specifically requests something for it. Now, if you like this gameplay and you're not really sure what Transport Fever is, Transport Fever is basically this but better. So, if you like this, then I will be making videos on Transport Fever, although you're not going to see one of these, though. It won't come out until... I'll try and get one up the 9th, but I'm probably just going to be playing as much as possible on the 8th, so I might record 2 or 3 videos that day, but yeah, nothing's going to come out until the 9th, I'm sure of that. So I just wanted to let you know on that. Like I said, if you need any particular help or interest, or for some reason on Train Fever, then you're going to have to specifically request it, because this will be the last video for Train Fever, barring some request or something. Okay. Now, have we learned anything else about Transport Fever? Yes, I did see airplanes finally. Somebody got the airplanes and they look pretty good. Building the airport's extremely expensive, but they look really good though. So now I only saw the very first airplane available, so nothing too remarkable. I think it's only capable of carrying like 3 passengers or something. Another interesting thing to note, which is a nice improvement, is in Transport Fever, you'll be able to make road overpasses over railroad stations or train depots, and surprisingly enough, you can even do it over your airport, which it looks a little strange because the guy he actually showed what it looked like, but you can do that if you want to. You can actually make an overpass over your airport. So that's just something to think about. Did I learn anything else about Transport Fever? Let me just address one thing that in my very first video I said I wasn't really sure about if the maps were bigger or not. Now, after watching that same series for a while, I think it is a bit bigger. He keeps noting how huge it is, but when you're just watching the video on YouTube and not actually playing the game yourself, it's kind of hard for me to tell. But I've looked at it a few times. It looks like it is a little bit bigger. Well, actually, I should say maybe more than a little bit bigger. It looks like it could be significantly bigger. But I'm just not 100% certain. The towns, like I said, I thought they looked like they started a little bit bigger than what they do here, and it definitely looks like they grow faster on their own. So those are a couple of important things to know. Now, is there anything else particularly noteworthy on Transport Fever I learned? Not particularly, but I will touch on this. Now, one thing about the airplanes is they are actually apparently relatively low cost to fly airplanes, which I'm surprised by that, but that's what he's saying, is they actually they don't cost that much to maintain. Another thing, ships. I probably mentioned this in a video or 2 back when I first mentioned I saw the ships, but those are also a low maintenance vehicle. Now, they're very slow. They don't deliver their product very often, but they are low maintenance and they haul a very large amount. So it's a large payday when they do come in, even though they don't pay off that often. The payday is so large that Although I don't know if you want to rely too heavily on that, just because ships move so slow that you probably have to be moving and, you'd have to be speeding up time constantly just to get anything done if you're relying on ships a lot. But I guess that's up to your playstyle. You can do that. Okay, so I think that's the extent of what I know and wanted to add about transport fever. Okay, so now, what are we going to do in this video here? I think I just wanted to show you just me expanding the cargo network a little bit. And let me see here. Okay, now I kind of discussed this in the last video, but let me look again. Now I wanted to develop the cargo down here around Bridgeport, Evansville. As you can see, we've got oil refineries up here. Yeah, so this guy up here, so we probably want to get him a rail line from there to there, and then get a rail line from goods from there to there. And then probably do like a truck line from here to here. Now, one thing that I see that I don't particularly like is this guy is also supplying some goods to Bridgeport, so that's going to lessen the demand that Bridgeport has, but that's why I'm going to try and supply both towns immediately. Let me double check here how much money I've got. I've got almost 2 million, which that might be actually a little bit borderline if I can make, because to do what I would like to do, that would require 3 train stations. And actually, because I have determined this station here, it's only going to fuel this one town by rail. This one's going to be by road, so it actually, I could go ahead and just make that a one-track station, because I'm not anticipating using that distribution point to supply any other towns. So yeah, I think that's doable. Because now, as I've said before, normally if you've got a distribution point, if you're supplying several locations, then you need a large station, like a 5-track station. But since this one, well, we're only going to supply one town by rail, so I just knock that down to 1 track. Now, I still want the maximum length, because there will be, I want to make sure it can store the maximum possible amount of product ready to go. Yeah, let's do it like that. Okay, so then where do I need to build my station over here? Okay, so most of our industrial mostly is over here, so we want the station on that side. Because as you must remember, it's the industrial that consumes the goods and train fever. Now, actually, that's another thing I will add. I think there is some differences as to what needs what in transport fever. Now, first of all, in transport fever, I think there's several different end goods. It's not just simple goods. There's construction material, there's food. I think there is still one that's just called regular goods, but I think there's 2 or 3 other things that towns are going to want all of, and which, like now, I think the only thing that needs goods in train fever, I think, is the industrial. In transport fever, you've got some of it needs food, some wants construction, some wants fuel. It's a little bit more complicated, but in my opinion, it's a lot better. It should make it a lot more fun because you're going to want to try and figure out how to funnel all the different things into all the towns that need it and into the various locations. Okay, now let's make a road. Let's just loop it around Okay, now another thing, as I've mentioned, this is just a drop-off point. You don't need a long station because you're just dropping the stuff off. There's nothing there that's going to need to be picked up. We'll just tack that on there. And how's our money doing? 1.7 million, so we're doing pretty good. Okay, now let's get this other station on here. Okay, this is going to be a pickup point, so we'll go back to the long platform. I just stick it on there. It's going to should be close enough. Alright, now let's see if we can get the tracks on. That shouldn't have knocked me down that much money, so I still got 1.5. Yeah, I guess I will have both trains come in from this north side. Shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, now let's... Okay, now as I've said in Train Fever, that's something you gotta watch for, because I thought they were connected, but they're actually not. They didn't connect, they just missed there a little bit. So let's bulldoze. Jeez, I'd have to bulldoze that whole thing. You know what? I won't worry about bulldozing it. I'll just do it like this. Now, in some situations, you want to avoid doing this because when you have a switch there, that means trains have to slow down for a switch. But at the angle of that curve, he would have, I'm pretty sure any train going more than 60 is going to have to slow down anyway. So, you know, I'm not going to worry about the slow down because he would have to regardless, even without the switch. Alrighty, now probably want to do that from like over here to down through there. So turn off. Yep, connected. Alrighty, so how are we looking on money now? We're under $1 million, I can see that. Oh, not anymore. We're over $1 million now. Okay, now before I actually stick a train on, though, let's get my road route set up here first. Okay, we're doing cargo. Stick it on right there. Where is it? No way, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so most of our industrial is over here, so we'll make the stop right there. Okay, so now I need a road and rail depot. Okay, go down here. Alrighty, there we go. I'll go ahead and set up the line for the road before I punch in the rail depot. Let's get rid of that. Okay, where's new line? Oops. Oh yeah, that's right. Bridgeport transfer to Bridgeport halt. Oh, that's another thing to note. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned it. Now, if you've played Train Fever much before, or if you've just noticed it watching my videos, now you always get that kind of brief freeze anytime at the end of the year. And it also happens a lot of times at every month, too. Because at every month, that's when you see the little rig numbers go up showing how many things, the cost for each vehicle, the monthly expense. And a lot of times, if you've got a lot of vehicles, a lot of times it causes a freeze for a couple of seconds. Well, in Transport Fever, you can turn that off. You can get rid of that. Now, I believe you can also turn off the autosave as well, which still does cause that in Transport Fever. Well, actually, you might be able to turn off the autosave in this as well. But that's the big thing is in Train Fever, there's no option to get rid of that red text that comes up at the end of every month, and it always causes a freeze, like you just saw in the little window there for that train. And once you have a bunch of trains running around, and if there's a bunch of them in view, every time that happens, it freezes for a couple of seconds. And so now you can get rid of that stuff, and that's a nice little improvement they've added. Okay, so what is that? That's line 7. Let's go. Wait, I need to get rid of that so I can click on my depot. Alrighty, and we are going to be hauling goods. Got to make sure you select that. Now that's another thing actually I just thought of. In Transport Fever, you do not necessarily have to select which particular thing you're hauling. I mean, you can just leave it to automatic and it will figure it out. Now, in Transport Fever though, at some facilities, they produce more than one raw resource in some cases. So you may need to individually pick one out if you're going for one over another. So that's something you have to keep in mind. But if it's just producing one raw resource that you just need to move back and forth, you don't have to remember to set the individual one like you always do here in Train Fever. It has an automatic option, that's pretty nice compared to this, because you have to be very careful about that on this, or you can screw yourself very quickly. Okay, so let's start off with, let's just do 3 for now. Let's see if that's enough. Okay. Now, I don't think there's going to be any more rail lines going anywhere from these places. So the simplest thing to do for the train depot is going to be just stick it right on the end there. That would be the simplest thing. Oh, and you know what? I need to get my signals in order here. Of course, you have to always remember that the signals have to be on the right side of whichever way the train is going for them to be affected. So that means, the signals on the right side of the track. If the train is coming in, it means that'll stop them if there's a train already over here in the station. Because I don't want to stop anybody on that side. I only want to stop these guys as they're coming in if there's somebody already there. Yeah, so that's just one thing you have to remember about your signals. It's always got to be on the train's right side if you want it to be affected by that particular signal. Okay, now let's get the line set up. We'll do this one first. Bridgeport to Bridgeport East. How much money? I've got over $1 million again, so that looks like I'm doing good. Alrighty. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that one. I mean, I don't need a fast train, but this really isn't a fast train anyway. I really don't have any such thing as a fast train available yet. Okay, but it's hauling oil, though. I need to remember that. Now, it's kind of funny. This smaller car actually costs more to maintain than that one. And I'll just mention that quickly again, is it's usually not your upfront cost up here that's not what costs you the most. It's the maintenance, the running cost per year. That's what runs a serious money over the lifetime of a train. and the cars. I mean, usually the running cost of the cars is usually insignificant compared to that of the train, but still, it all adds up. So, I will just start with 4 for now. There we go. Alrighty, let's get the other line set up. Let's just get you out of the way. I don't need to be looking at you still. Move that. So we got from Bridgeport north, actually, to Evansville east. Alrighty. And then I can go ahead and buy the train if he's still in the way. He'll just wait before he comes out of the depot, so we're fine. Now with this one though, we've got to keep in mind this one is moving goods. So, we need goods cars. Actually, what is the demand in Evansville? 30? But it's such a short route. I mean, I don't need that much capacity right away. So let's go ahead and just, yeah, let's just go for 3. That's probably going to be more than enough, actually. And now it might actually be a valid concern this early on in the town's development on that short of a route. Is that going to be profitable? I mean, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I think it probably will be. I mean, now, is this one going to be profitable? I don't think there's any question this one will be, because this facility is supplying goods to both here and there, so he's going to need to ramp his production up a little bit. And it probably even more so once I get lines set up from Chattanooga to Pueblo from over here, and maybe this guy will stop delivering his services to Bridgeport. That's what I would hope. I'd really rather him not even be supplying Bridgeport at all. You don't need 2 different facilities supplying one town. It's kind of a waste. What do we got for money? Very low on money, actually, less than 100K, so we're definitely not going to work on those Chattanooga or Pueblo lines right now. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of these markers, because I'm not going to be doing anything for a few minutes here. And let's see. Been going for about 22 minutes here. And let's speed up time a little bit now. So oil is already building up to be shipped. Set up platforms, I don't know. Okay, I just went and zoomed in enough. There it is. And here he comes in to pick it up. Now that is a little bit of a grade, but yeah, he's still maintaining top speed all the way in, so we're good there. Of course, that's another thing that's very important to remember. I remember I went through it in the first video, I'll mention it again. These early on trains, you have to be careful about how much grade you have that they have to go up, because they don't handle slopes very well. But this one looks like that's a gradual enough slope. I didn't even get in trouble. Alright, so we got 7. That's a full carload's worth. And let me turn my phone on silent so I don't get interrupted again. It's a very important tip for when you're recording YouTube. Remember to turn your phone on silent, which I forget to do too often. Now I'm pretty sure he shouldn't have had anything available at first run, but we do see he also has trade building up here. So it is working as the plan, and the truck line also has trade building up, so it looks like we're doing good. Now, I don't know, did they just do an upgrade? Because I think 50, to get to 50 capacity, that would have been an upgrade, so maybe they just did that recently. Although it doesn't look like they even needed to upgrade. They're making 25 production that's what their maximum was. Now, okay, production is still slowly coming up, so that's why they upgraded. So that'll take a little bit of time for that to fester, I will say, and that should make money overall. And as I said, hopefully it'll make even more money once I get the supplies from here diverted out over these other areas. Alright, now let's check in. What have I got going on? He's coming in to pick up goods. He's got 21 goods. Are you making money? Yes, he has been making money. But honestly, that's not very much money. I mean, less than 100K, that's not that great. And something I also mentioned, I believe in the first video, that maintenance costs, they always go up every year. So he's not making that much money now, and over time he's going to make less and less. So eventually the maintenance cost for that train will overtake the profitability. He's got a little bit left there. I could probably afford to put a car on there, actually, and that would increase profitability some. How old is the train? 10 years old, so I'm not going to replace it that soon. Check over here how much they are getting their maximum amount of supply they need. Yeah, I'll think about that. I might tack another car onto that one. Now, actually, I remember at the end of the last video, I was talking about how I needed to upgrade my coal train, which I did. However, one thing I actually didn't really notice until after I stopped recording, really my iron ore train is about the same situation. It really probably needs to be upgraded. There's 58 there. And he has a maximum capacity of 42. So, yeah, let's just tell him to go back to the depot. I mean, how old is the train? He's 21 years old. I've got a little bit of time before I really need to replace it. Although I could replace it now, but I mean, he's been making fairly solid money along, so I don't feel the need to replace them. I mean, it's not that there's no faster trains available or anything like that, so yeah, there's not really a reason to replace it. So we'll just send the depot, tack another probably 2 more cars on, and that should be good. And that's another thing, as I kind of harped on, is you want to maximize the profitability of your raw resource lines, and that's why you want to supply 2 to 3 towns at least per facility, just to ramp up the demand they need from these, and that way you can actually get some fairly large trains going back and forth from your raw resources to the end product facility, which is the goal. I mean, that's realistically, that's the whole point of trains, really, is that they can haul massive loads. You don't buy a train to haul 2 or 3 cars, not realistically. If you're going to do that part, just use a semi-truck. It's one of the main points of trains, is the in bulk, huge amounts of cargo they could haul. Alright, so let us buy, I said 2 more. Let me double check what line is that. Line 2, okay. Excuse me, if you heard that. Maybe you didn't hear it. I hope you didn't. Yeah, right, there we go. Alright. So we should be, oh wow. You know what, let's check, because I think as I wrapped up my last video, I think I just put down this passenger line. So is that actually making money? Or at least is it projected to make money? Oh, here it is. Oh wow, he's got 36 people on board. Full load. How many there waiting? 21 people, wow. He's doing good. 40 there. Yeah, this guy, he honestly, I could probably do to add another car onto that, honestly. But I don't know if I've played that much since I made that car, because it's actually had some profitable years there. I didn't realize I've had that much playtime since I put that passenger line in. But so this line looks like it's going to do good, this passenger line, but you always need to remember, be a little cautious about expanding too many passenger lines, because it can be tempting to say, oh, well, look, this place ain't that far away, these places aren't that far away, let's start connecting everything up here. And passenger lines, it seems like you can't go too long before you start running into duds. And that's why I was kind of saying that it's really, you need to really make sure you stay on top of your cargo moving, because cargo is more reliable if you're doing it correctly. That's the most reliable source of income. And let me check, like, how much have you got waiting on here? 17. Not as much as I hoped, but there'll be a little bit more by the time the train gets there. So that is actually going to be the interesting thing, is have I outdone myself here? These lines are so short. Is the demand high enough? 9 of 21. Another thing I'll mention about transport fever. I can't remember if I mentioned this in any of my other previous videos. I think I might have, but I'm going to mention it again. For cargo lines, it is much better, I have heard, to make sure you tell your vehicles to wait for full load. Because in transport fever, the maintenance cost is less for vehicles that are not moving as opposed to ones that are moving. So it's better to tell them to wait for full load. Now actually, I suppose that could work theoretically with passengers as well. I guess it would be the same concept if you need to. So that's something else just to keep in mind. Let's see, he's got 9 goods on board, 5 waiting. Well, I don't think we're going to find out if this is eventually going to be a profitable line, because it's about time for me to wrap this video up. And as I'll go through it again, this is going to be my last video on Trading Fever, unless somebody specifically requests something that I cannot address in Transport Fever, because I'm going to start doing videos on Transport Fever as soon as that comes out, at least after, however long it gets me done to do the, I have to run it through Windows Movie Maker to compress it and then upload it, so it's going to don't expect to see anything on Transport Fever before the 9th. But I will start doing videos from that, though, and like I said, there's not going to be anything else on Train Fever, barring request. Alrighty, but I have, over the course of these videos, I have shown you an effective way that's worked for me to start and to make money, that it should work for you pretty much throughout the game if you remember stay true to your cargo lines and do those correctly. Alrighty, so if you like this, if it's helped you, give it a like. Of course, like I said, if anybody's got a request or something, leave that in the comment section, or about anything else that you take note of, leave it in the comment section, and maybe just give it a subscribe to my channel if you've liked it. Oh, thanks for watching, guys, and I will be looking forward to doing some Transport Fever videos here shortly. Thank you very much.